Everybody, this is a guided walkthrough for the Microchoft challenge over at the hackerslabs.com. This is a Windows challenge, and we're going to be learning about how to do some basic enumeration against Windows machines and how to take advantage of common Windows vulnerabilities. So everybody, let's start. So the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out where on the network our machine is. So let me show you this virtual machine over here. This is the machine we're going to be hacking against. I went ahead and I started it up on our network. The first thing we need to do is we need to identify where it is. So we're just going to run this nmap command over here, and we're going to run it against this network range. So our attacker machine and the target machine are both on this network range, and we run nmap to run what is called a ping sweep to figure out which machines are online. So the only two machines that are VirtualBox virtual machines are these two over here. So our attacker machine is located at this address, the number 4 address, and the victim machine is going to be at the number 6 address. So this is the IP we're going to be hacking against. So we're going to copy that, and then we're going to run nmap against this IP address. We're going to run it against all ports. We're going to get common scripts and versioning information. We're going to run it very verbose, and we're going to run it very, very fast. So we're going to run it with T5, which is very fast as far as nmap is concerned. So the nmap program is going to try to figure out which ports are open on the machine, and let's run the scan. Okay, so when we run the scan, we're going to see that immediately there are a bunch of Windows ports that are open. So these are ports that are normally associated with Windows services. We've got ports 135, 139, and 445, and a bunch of ports that are on the 40,000 range. This is all very, very normal for Windows machines. So ports 139 and 145 are associated with the SMB protocol. And the SMB protocol is basically it's a very common Windows protocol that is used for file sharing, and we can start to investigate that. So we can go over to our netexec over here, and okay, we're going to be using netexec, and netexec is a very powerful tool for doing Windows service enumeration, and normally we can run netexec shortened to NXC along with a protocol such as SMB and an IP address that we want to target. We usually have to provide a username and either a password hash or a password. But if we don't have those, we can't provide those. So we can also supply empty strings for usernames and passwords. So in this case, we don't have a username or a password. So we're just going to leave those as empty strings. We need to supply the IP address. And what we want to do is we want to figure out if there are any common SMB vulnerabilities on this box. So if we go back to our nmap, the nmap is done. So an important thing about this particular box is that we discovered that the Windows being used here is Windows 7. So Windows 7 is a very old version of Windows, and older versions of Windows are often vulnerable to common SMB exploits. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Old versions of Windows. So old versions of Windows, such as XP, Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Server 2003, Server 2006, are often vulnerable to well-known SMB exploits, such as EternalBlue, which is MS17010. So when security testing these older versions of Windows, we should always check for common SMB vulnerabilities, because these can lead to complete compromise of these systems. So what we can do inside of Nmap is we can scan specifically for SMB vulnerabilities against the target, and if the systems are vulnerable to any of these common SMB vulnerabilities, it'll report this as such. So let's go back. So here we can run Nmap, and we can run it with these particular arguments here. In particular, the script is going to be the Nmap script we're going to run is the SMB vulnerability script, which is going to check the server for common SMB vulnerabilities. Hold on, gotta adjust the IP address. And when we run this, it's going to scan only the SMB ports, and then it's going to report back to us if the target is vulnerable to SMB vulnerabilities. Okay, so inside the host script results, for the result for SMB vulnerability MS17010, it says that it's vulnerable. So we see here that, so this is vulnerable to MS17010, otherwise known as EternalBlue, and it says it's a remote code vulnerability inside of SMB version 1 servers. It is vulnerable, and what we need to do is we need to confirm this. So we can go over to netexec, and we can scan the target for, what was it called? MS017, MS17010. Hold on, how do you do it? So let's go ahead and scan using netexec, just to confirm that this target is vulnerable to EternalBlue. The netexec scan came back, and it reports that our target over here, so which is Microchoft, it says it's likely vulnerable to MS17010, and it also tells us the version of Windows that is being used. Okay, so what can we do with this information? So, okay, so what is this EternalBlue vulnerability that we've been talking about? So this is EternalBlue, otherwise known as MS17010, and it's the common name for the Windows vulnerability MS17010, which affects Windows systems using the SMB version 1 service. So if a system is successfully attacked using EternalBlue, there is often no need for privilege escalation. So if you can successfully attack a target using EternalBlue, you don't need to do any further privilege escalation because it will give you access as the highest level of user on the system. So since EternalBlue exploits SMB in the context of a system level user, this results in privileged access to the system. So there's as far as how to exploit EternalBlue, there is a very popular exploit module that covers this. So once again, we're talking about exploit. So what we can do is we can, on the console, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start up the exploit console program over here. And then after it finishes booting up, we can start using the module for EternalBlue. Anyways, this is what we're going to do. We're going to use this exploit right here. So exploit Windows SMB MS17010 underscore EternalBlue. Okay. And this is actually a very convenient way to exploit EternalBlue. And what we need to do is we need to show our options. There are a couple of things that we need to configure before we can run the exploit. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to specify the rhost. The rhost is the IP address that we're going to be attacking. So we're just going to set rhosts to the target machine, this IP address here. The next thing we need to do is we need to set our own L host over here. So the L host is our attacker machine. So set L host, and that's going to be, I think I'm running on the ETH1 networking device, so I just need to set this interface here. Okay. So after we do that, all we need to do is run the exploit. So, oh, sorry, there's one more thing we need to do. So the last thing we need to do is we need to set a target. So it says over here, automatic target. So the target is the version of Windows being used. From here, what we need to do is we need to set target Windows 7. Okay. All right, so all we need to do from here is we need to run the exploit. So we're just going to type in the word run. We can also type in the word exploit if we're being dramatic. I guess we like to be dramatic, so we'll just type in exploit. And then the exploit is going to run. So it says host is likely vulnerable to MS17010, and it gives us the Windows version. And it looks like we have an interpreter system info. Oh, sysinfo. Okay, so we see that the computer that we're connected to is called Microchoft. It is a Windows 7 machine with the 64-bit architecture. And okay, so we've effectively gotten in. So what we need to do is we need to call in Scary Hacker Voice Man to talk all about it. Okay, let me set up Scary Hacker Voice Man.
Hey guys, it's me, Scary Hacker Voice Man. Scary Hacker Voice Man comes out every time we break into a server. And, oh boy, well, Mr. Microchoft, you decided it was okay to run really old versions of Windows that run SMB version 1, huh? That was a big mistake. Maybe you were aware of these security vulnerabilities, or maybe you decided that it was worth the risk. Well, you accepted the risk, and now we're in.
We're very close to the end of the exercise. So from the interpreter over here, all we need to do is drop into our shell with the shell command, and then we are on the box. If we ask who are we, it says we're the NT Authority System User, which is the highest level of access on a Windows system. So this means we have access, we have full access to every all the files on the system, and we can do whatever we want. So to finish the exercise, we just need to go into the users directory and then grab the flag inside the admin users desktop. So we're going to go into admin and then into their desktop. And we're going to read this admin.txt.txt file. But we're not going to show the flag because we're trying to be polite to the organizers over at the Hackers Labs and not show their flags on these walkthrough videos. So we're just going to type the file, but we're going to redirect the output to a file called iReadAdmin.txt.txt, like this. Okay. So from here, we see that we accessed the admin.txt.txt file, and we're able to create this file over here. So this proves that we read the flag file on the box and that we've finished the exercise. All right, so everybody, that was a guided walkthrough for the Microchoft machine over at thehackerslabs.com. Everybody, if you enjoyed this guided walkthrough, please click on the like and subscribe buttons on the video and leave a comment underneath the video. But until next time, HackerFrogs out.
Hey there, HackerFrogs! Are you enjoying this workshop? Learning new concepts and skills? If so, there's a way you can support the channel, and it's totally free. Just click on the subscribe button below the video. Also, click on the like button. And if you have questions or comments on this workshop, please leave them below the video. Thanks for listening. And now, back to our scheduled programming.